For some endogenous and exogenous reasons, its impact remains debatable. We hope that during this Biden administration, there will be put in place a solid, long-lasting, and mutually beneficial, as well as impeccable trade and investment regime between the U.S. and Africa, including a predictable and structured U.S.-Africa summit, all in the spirit of Africa Agenda 2063 and a historically enduring partnership between the two parties. Our chief guest and our distinguished guests, there has been criticism about Uganda government credentials on democracy, good governance, and human rights. I wish to assure all those concerned that these are tenets so dear to the government of Uganda. In fact, it is in defense of those tenets that the NRM government came to power, so that the people of Uganda elect their preferred leaders and are governed in accordance with the law, as well as enjoy their human rights and other freedoms in an atmosphere of tranquility. We cannot claim 100% perfection, for no country can claim that. However, government remains ready to keep evolving in to keep improving to higher levels of advancing those tenets, and we welcome US's readiness to continue working with us in this endeavor. Lastly, to my compatriots, the Ugandan diaspora and the Ugandan leaders, some of them are here. I issued a separate message to them on the exact day of our independence anniversary, on October 9th, 2021. In that message, firstly, I assured them of the embassy's cooperation to serve them in the various ways, including in the provision of consular and immigration services. Secondly, I appealed to them to always remain good citizens and live productive lives in their country of residence and country of origin. Thirdly, I advised them to avoid being over-involved or associated with matters of no achievable objectives. Fourthly, I asked them to focus their energies on their well-being and the happiness of their families. That way, they will find it easier to drive themselves and their families into growth, prosperity, and development. Fifthly and lastly, I inferred that as they enhance and firmly anchor themselves, they shall be able to further boost their contribution to the socio-economic transformation of Uganda in areas like investment, trade, tourism, education, and health. Especially with the culture and experience of corporate America, the contribution of the diaspora to Uganda's political and economic independence would be phenomenal. And I would like now to propose a toast. I hope we are ready for it. As I wind up at this stage, allow me to propose a toast for the good health and prosperity of His Excellency President Biden and His Excellency President Museveni, as well as the peoples of USA and Uganda. Cheers and Ashanti. Happy Independence Day anniversary to all of you, our distinguished guests. Thank you very much for your attention, and God bless all of you. It is now my singular honor to invite our guest of honor to make her remarks on behalf of the U.S. government. My guest of honor, our guest of honor, Ms. Chidi, is also accompanied by her spouse. We want to welcome her spouse in a special way. Thank you so much. And may God bless all of you. I now yield the floor to our chief guest.
Your Excellency, Ambassador Katende, distinguished guests, and colleagues amongst the Africa community, I am honored to be here amongst so many friends and colleagues from the Africa DIPCOR, as well as from the U.S. private sector and U.S. government community. I am honored to join you today on this 59th anniversary of Uganda's independence. The friendship and partnership between our countries has grown over the years, and we look forward to continuing to work with the Ugandan government as it builds a prosperous, democratic, and secure country. As you've already noted, it has been a very challenging year for our countries and the world at large. The humanitarian and economic effects of COVID-19 have been devastating, but we are proud that since the pandemic began last year, the United States has provided almost $100 million to Uganda in direct assistance specifically to prevent, detect, and respond to COVID-19. And we will continue to do all that we can to bring the COVID-19 pandemic to end in Uganda and globally. Another challenge has been the spread of terrorism and conflict in East Africa and other parts of the globe. I would be remiss in my capacity as the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for African Affairs if I did not acknowledge and thank Uganda for its tireless efforts and sacrifices as the largest troop contributor to the African Union mission in Somalia. We will continue to support the African Union-led force in 2022 and stand ready to support African-led efforts to address conflict and insecurity on the continent. Given the events in Afghanistan during the last several months, I also want to recognize the government of Uganda and the Ugandan people for their generosity in offering to provide temporary assistance to evacuees from Afghanistan. As the ambassador noted, carrying on the country's tradition of welcoming refugees and other communities in their time of need. As friends, we also have an obligation to acknowledge that there are areas where our governments may not always agree. We have been clear in expressing our concerns about the conduct of Uganda's elections, about the violence that took place in the run-up to those elections, and the ongoing restrictions on civil society organizations, especially on those operating in the democracy and governance space. But as you noted, we too have our challenges and continue to strive to be better. In Uganda and in all democratic societies, a vibrant civil society and the rule of law are essential to ensure that all citizens are able to live their lives without fear, regardless of who they are or what views they express. Vibrant civil society and the rule of law are also essential as countries work to harness the full economic potential of their citizens, to attract and maintain foreign investment, and to address the key global challenges of our day. Your Excellency, 59 years of independence is a moment to be very proud of. Again, I'd like to thank Ambassador Katende and his spouse for the warm welcome and honors of being their guest tonight, and the opportunity to represent our partnership at this momentous occasion. As we celebrate with you Uganda's independence, we remain very much committed to the partnership between our countries. We will continue to work with the people and the government of Uganda to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to achieve their full potential, secure in their rights, and free to be who they are. Again, I want to thank you for this very distinguished honor of being your guest this evening. Wibare.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Katende. Thank you, our guest of honor, for those very beautiful remarks.